Hey, welcome to another episode of The One Where. Let's see what we have in store today. The one where the under protest procedure was not implemented. You would be surprised actually in how many countries this is not implemented. So if you look at the WTO and GATT provisions of the customs agreement, there is certain principles you would want to see. You would want to see that there is a right to request explanation in writing. You would want to see release of goods under protest or against a guarantee. You would want to see appeal procedure. You would want to see a procedure where you can escalate, an escalation procedure. And there's many local legislations, even though the provisions of WTO and the customs agreement is really clear. A lot of local markets have not yet adopted the full provisions of the WTO in their legislation. So what do you do in the event that the under protest procedure is not implemented? Well, you take a step back and you say, okay, I cannot apply the WTO customs agreement as is. You need to follow the local law. And how do you follow the local law in that instance? You basically say, okay, I understand that this country is a member of the WTO. I understand this country wants to apply the GATT provisions, but it hasn't yet. So therefore, what do? You go and you look at the local legislation, what is possible. And in the event of a dispute where release under protest is not implemented, you need to look at the timeline, because that means that your goods will be stuck in customs until the dispute is resolved. So that means you need to act fast. It means you need to get in front of the customs authorities and have your defense documentation quickly prepared. So what is really important, the moment you act in a country like this, you need to make sure you get your documentation prepared already in advance, actually, before you start operating in that market. Know that you're prepared in the event of a customs dispute so that you can act quickly. Otherwise, you will have a halt on your supply chain and a halt on your importations in the event of a customs dispute. So what do? You make sure that your case is prepared. How do you prepare your case? You ensure that you look at what is the evidence elements that you need to present for your cases, and you make sure that you have your documentation together and that they meet the local regulation requirements. If they meet the local regulation requirements, you can always take the international requirements with you in order to have the discussion if the case is being escalated to, let's say, a higher level authority like the head of customs or the customs committees and so forth. So in essence, very important, if a part of the customs agreement of the WTO is not implemented in the local legislation, prepare your case. Make sure before you even enter the market that you have a procedure for defending cases. And if a case arises, prepare the case really quickly to avoid demurrage and long storage costs in the country. And then have the discussion on merit and request release of goods in accordance with the justification of the goods that was provided. So in essence, act fast and be prepared. See you in the next one. Bye.